Welcome to the Author's Studio in Book Expo America 2013 in New York City. And we're sitting with a gentleman, well, if you're Buddhist, you know this guy. His name is Lodro Rinzler. He has written a new book called Walk Like a Buddha, Even If Your Boss Sucks, Your Ex is Torturing You, and You're Hungover Again. Did I read that right? With
That's
the right
absolutely
inflection?
it. Yep.
And this follows up a very popular book, The Buddha Walks Into a Bar.
Absolutely.
So why not write another one, correct?
Yeah, this actually came out of the first book. I traveled to about 36 cities for the first book, which was exhausting but wonderful. And we had a lot of people come up and they had a lot of great questions. All those questions were compiled and made into this next book.
Now, you probably know Lodro from the Huffington Post, and he is the most popular Buddhist advice columnist in America. What does that mean, Lodro?
It's a great niche to fill because I think I might be the only Buddhist advice columnist in America. But I've had the column on the Huffington Post for about 5 years now, which now I think about it has been a good amount of time. And every week people write in with different questions about how meditation applies to, their jerk of a boss, to going out with friends on a Friday night, any of these sorts of things. And we try and bring traditional teachings from 2,600 years ago, make them really relevant to what's going on today.
All right, if I asked you for the best piece of Buddha advice you have ever given, what would it be? Is there a common thread? Is there a common theme to the advice you give?
I would say that one of the most common questions I get is actually, it's very heartbreaking when I get it. It's someone saying, I don't feel like I'm worthy of being loved, of my job, of my promotion, whatever it might be. It's the sense of self-doubt that I feel like a lot of us are held down by. So I've had to address it over and over again. The beauty of the Buddhist wisdom is that the belief is that we're all basically good. We're all innately wise, innately capable, innately worthy of whatever comes our way. So that's really what I've been trying to emphasize in these two books.
So is the new book, Walk Like a Buddha, is that an extension of the first? Is that leftover pieces of advice you didn't get to stuff into the first book?
It is. It's a lot of different things that that wasn't put in the first book, and then stuff that I had never thought about in terms of people asking questions about, you wouldn't believe it, open relationships, how to do a job interview from a Buddhist perspective, how to create social action. All of that's all been thrown into this because I hadn't thought about it before. And in the last year, I've really had to address those questions and talk with people in conversation. It's been wonderful.
Now, is this advice that non-Buddhists can take to heart?
That's exactly it. In fact, if you're the sort of person that hates organized religion, this is the book for you. This is, if you think of yourself as vaguely spiritual or just sort of interested in meditation, this is all very applicable. It's very much about taking these traditional teachings and just making them accessible to what you're going through.
Now, you have been called the cool kids Buddhist. What does that mean?
Yeah, this is something that the Boston Phoenix said about me about a year ago. I think the idea of being the cool kids Buddhist is probably referring to the fact that I do talk about things that people don't often talk about in Buddhism, like sex, like one-night stands, like drinking with your friends. Things that are not traditionally spoken of within these sorts of books, that's all in here.
How do Buddhists who take their philosophy of life, their spiritualism, seriously, how do they react to what you write?
Yeah, it's a mixed bag. Some people are saying, I'm so glad you're finally making these things available to people in their own language. Some people say, I can't believe you would ever talk about drinking. If you are a hardcore traditional monastic Buddhist that thinks that no one should ever do anything like this is not your book. But if you're every other human being that's sort of mildly curious about this stuff, take a read.
I'm guessing there's a third book along the way?
There is. There's The Buddha Walks Into the Office, which I'm really excited about, specifically meditation and how it applies to both going to work and figure out what you want to do for your livelihood.
I'm still not sure I read the title of the book correctly. How would you read the title of your book?
Walk Like a Buddha, Even If Your Boss Sucks, Your Ex is Torturing You, and You're Hungover Again.
Okay, a little different from what I said. You also pronounced it Buddha. Buddha.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I had it right the first time.
You did. You got it.
All right. Well, thank goodness. Otherwise, we would have had to start the whole thing over. All right. He is Lodro Rinzler. You can see him on the Huffington Post, or you can pick up his latest book, Walk Like a Buddha. Even if your boss sucks, your ex is torturing you, and you're hungover. Again, you're not hungover right now, are you?
Not at all.
That's a
today.
good thing. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.